It's been a little bit since I talked about my mapping system, and considering that we are pushing for Royal Diamond, I figured now would be a good time because so many people within our team specifically are pushing for promotions. And this has been the most helpful thing that I have learned how to do during a month where you're pushing for a promotion. Okay. So it's called mapping, right? Which is silly. But if you think about it, like before iPhones, if you didn't have a map, you had no idea where you were going, right? And that's basically the sense of this is we want to have your goal, but have it planned out to how you're getting to your goal, right? It's one thing to be like, I need 20 orders to go elite. It's another thing to say, I need 20 orders. Here's where they're coming from. And I'm making my way through my map on my way there. Okay. So that is this. So I have actually started a map for gold. This says we are gold. Okay. It's not the best. I did it in gold coloring, but now I'm like, that's not very helpful for you guys, but that's what it says. And basically what I did, because gold is bigger goal, and I'm going to show you a smaller example later or walk you through one. But for us, for going gold right now, we need about 118 orders in the next 2 weeks. So what I did to save myself paper is I split that in half. So when I made this map, we needed a little bit more, but I put 66 spots on here. And it's just numbered 1 all the way through 66. Okay. There's nothing on it. It's just a piece of paper that says we are gold, numbered 1 through 66. Okay. And I split it in half. Now, if you're someone who's like, I need 10 orders to go elite. Okay. I'm looking at Jen. You do not need to split it in half. I would make one map that says I am elite, and I would number it 1 through 10. This would more so be for like people going silver, maybe some people going bronze, depending on what they need. If you're working towards going executive, elite, again, it could be for bronze. A smaller 1-page map will work for you. Okay. But you want to identify what your goal is, put that at the top. Okay. I want you to see your goal every time you look at this page. That sounds silly and cheesy, but I swear to you, it works. I want you to plaster it everywhere. I am elite. We are elite. However you want to work your map. Okay. That's what goes at the very top. And then you're numbering. Okay. So like what I did. Now, once you number, the goal is that you start filling in where these orders are actually coming from. Okay. Because if you just slap your goal up there, but you have nobody to fill in your 10 orders, the likelihood of you getting to that goal is a lot smaller. Versus if you can get on paper that you need 10 orders and they're coming from exactly these 10 people, the likelihood that you're going to hit your goal is going up, right? So that's the goal with this. So what I want you to start doing is looking within your team. Now, again, we have such a wide span of people hitting promotions this month. We have people going for their very first promotion of builder, all the way up to our team going gold, Marissa and Mary Jane pushing for silver, which is huge, huge span. But I want you to go to the people who are on your team and working, and you're going to get what I call their buy-in. Okay. We want to know what they are pushing for themselves, you guys. When you're talking about building these higher ranks like elite and bronze and so on and so forth, you are not doing that by yourself, most likely. If you are doing it by yourself, it's probably going to be a little bit harder and possibly not quite as sustainable. So my suggestion is that you build by first starting with the smaller goals on your team. What this would look like is going to your newest person and saying, okay, I'm making a map for our team. Talk to me about where you're at, right? Most likely they're trying to go builder. We're trying to go builder. Who are your potentials for builder? Who are you talking to right now? Who's looking at being a customer? Who's looking at being an ambassador? I want them to tell you what they're looking to do. Like, I want to add 3 people, but I want you to actually get names from them. Okay. You're going to hold them accountable with this. Again, using Jen as an example, right before we got on this call, I was reading a message where she was telling Marissa and I specifically who her potentials were. And I didn't get a chance to write it on my map, but once I get off this call, I'm going to add her to spots 14, 15, and 16 because she gave me her 3 potentials with her 3 names of those potentials. Does that make sense? It's specifics. We're not just throwing fluffy duffy goals up there and hoping that it happens. We're putting specifics on this map so that we know exactly who we need to follow up with. Okay. Now, what you're going to eventually do is fill your whole map in because you're going to start with the newest person on your team and you're going to get what their goals are. And then you're going to go to the person above them and you're going to say, okay, Mary Jo is going to add 3 people and these are her potentials. You're trying to go pro, which means you need 3 other orders. Who are your potentials? Who are you talking to? Where are those orders coming from, right? Because on their map, they need 6 orders. So they're going to be able to use that person beneath them and fill in those potentials they gave them, and then fill in the rest of the map with their potentials and anybody else on their team. Does that make sense so far? And you keep working your way up the list so that by the time you get up to my list, right? My list and my map actually looks like a culmination of all of your guys' maps plugged into one. And it gives us one huge map where everybody's potentials and all of their goals that they're working on, it's all fed into this one map. Did I lose anybody there? Does that make sense? Okay, so now this takes strategy, right? Because like for me, that's why I only have 13 spots filled on here so far, because this takes really going to all of your people and saying, I need your actual buy-in. I don't want you to tell me that you're going to enroll 7 people if you only have 2 potentials, right? If a couple days from now you come up with 5 more potentials with names, that's great. But on this map, you want the solidified, most serious people that you have right now. They might not sign up. Okay. Just because you put them on the map doesn't mean it's like a shoe-in and everybody's going to enroll. But these should be your people that have already gotten all the information. Okay. This isn't people that you messaged and said, hey, can I send you some info? And they're like, yeah, sure. That is not one of the potentials going on this list. It's the people who have watched a recording or they've watched a live video. They're in a 3-way chat. They've given you a date to sign up. Okay. Also, on this map, it's not just ambassadors. This is the part of our company that is very cool because at my previous company, customers did not help people hit promotions, so it didn't matter. Here, customers do help with your team's goals. So make sure that when you're talking about potentials, you're not just limiting yourself to customers, or I'm sorry, you're not just limiting yourself to ambassadors. You're also talking about customers, right? Tracy on our team, she has a customer right now that's going to be putting in a 60 PV order in a couple days. That person is on my list with a specific name. And I also have the PV next to them that they're ordering. That's how specific I try to get with this. Okay. I feel like I've beaten the dead horse with that. So I'm going to move on. So once you know what you're doing with your list, the way that you're going to fill it in is the sponsor's name. Okay, let me see if I can get this to focus. This is very hard to do. The first right here, this should be the sponsor's name. That's the very first thing that you write down. Then next to that should be the potential's name. Okay, so the person who's actually signing up. And then next to that, you would put any extra information you have. Okay. So there's a couple people on this list who have told us they're signing up on Monday. So on my map, I have the sponsor's name, then the potential's name, and then the date that they are signing up. Okay. If it's a customer, I'm even trying to put the PV, sponsor's name, potential's name, date, possible PV. Okay. Get specific, you guys, because this is really going to help you figure out where the heck this volume is coming from. We're in one of those months where volume is going to start pouring in out of the woodworks, right? And you could pull volume from areas if you needed to, but you need to know the specifics to make it realistic. Okay. When Brittany's like, don't play small, dream big. We don't do things small. We want big goals. We do want big goals. We just want to be very strategic so that we're giving those big goals an even higher likelihood of happening. Okay. Now, when you start marking up your map, okay, first of all, you're writing this in pencil. Okay. pencil. Don't write it in pen. This will change a million times. Now I do print them out. Additionally, like every couple days, I reprint my map and I update it again, just because I'm kind of anal about like marks and stuff on papers. But you won't need to do that if you do it in pencil. So everything's getting written in pencil. As people order, that's when you're breaking out the highlighter. Okay. So what your map will look like once it's filled up is you'll have all these numbers. Next to it, you will have the names, the potentials names, possibly dates and PV. And then as those people actually enroll, you're going to start highlighting them off your list so that as you're looking at this each morning and throughout the day, you can be like, oh my gosh, look at the progress I've made. I just started this map. I've already highlighted off 2 people because they enrolled, right? So that is progress. You're able to visually see how you're doing. If you start with a really big map, like if you're someone who needs like 20 orders plus, you'll probably eventually print a smaller map as your number dwindles to where it's like less than 10 people and you're highlighting that off. But the highlights, it really mentally, you guys, it does a lot because you're like, oh my gosh, the highlights are happening. I'm seeing the progress happen. I'm getting closer. What I also like to do in the top corner of my map is I haven't written it on there yet because I haven't finished it, but I keep a little countdown number. I know right now ours is 118. So in the top right corner, I will write down how many orders I need. And then as that dwindles, I will erase it and I will write down how many orders I need, right? It's all a visual thing and it's interactive. In a month like this, right? When this is a push month, you're going for a rank. Phones are great. I use lists on my phone every other month of this business. But when I'm going for a promotion, I like to have it on paper like this because I feel like it holds me more accountable than having to be in the notes section of my phone. I have to go into it, right? This, I carry it around my house literally. And I'll be like, oh, that person ordered. Oh, this person says that they're, they have another potential. And I keep updating it, keep updating it, keep updating it. Now, what I will tell you with this is if you are starting to make your map and you're like, okay, I know that someone on my team needs 3 orders to hit their re-rank. Okay. I know this person needs 3 orders, but we're not totally sure where they're coming from yet, but it's like 3 orders. Okay. I want you to fill that into the map and you're basically just going to put down the sponsor's name and you will leave that potential section blank for now as we're counting it in. Okay. That's if you're trying to make this map and you're like, I have no idea where any of this is coming from, right? I want you to first start with all of the potentials that you have the names for and the details of. I want you to fill that map as solidly out as you possibly can with all of the potentials that you know are solid. And then you can go in with saying, Janice needs 3 people to re-rank executive. Mariah needs 1 person to go builder, right? And you can kind of write that in. A huge point of this map is to be able to hold people accountable and keep them on track so that every day you're kind of going down this list and you're like, okay, now I know that I need to check in with Tracy because Janice says that she's enrolling today. Now I know that I need to check in with Mary Jane because she said that Sherry's enrolling today. Now I need to know to check into Jennifer because Jennifer had Bob Sue down as a potential, like whoever your potentials are, right? Everything on paper. Does that make sense? Does anybody have questions on this? Yeah, just unmute yourself. This is super informal.
So you used an example of someone having a customer that had 60 PV.
Yeah.
And you're assuming each one of these slots is 100. So then don't you have to just add another slot?
Yeah, you would. So that's where you're always changing it, right? I want you to write down the people who are customers with the PV because I don't want people to forget to follow up with them or have them slip through the cracks. You're going to be reevaluating this, right? Like this will be getting reevaluated. For me with I have 66 slots on here right now. In 2 days, I will reprint this list when we're at like 80. And I'll be refilling it back in. The number is more so for you to have an idea of like, okay, I need the 118 orders. And so I'm trying to get that all down as much as I can. But yes, even if it's less than 100 PV, still write it down so that you can keep track of it. Any other questions? Okay, so this Zoom call comes with homework because what I want you guys to do, if applicable, is go to your teams and start working on their maps. Start at the bottom and work your way up. Start with your newest people. Help them build their maps, right? This is going to mean that you're kind of retraining this. So you're going to say, I was just on this training with Mandy. She was teaching us how to map because we're in this huge momentous month, right? We still have basically 2 full weeks left of this month, you guys. So we're going to work on your map. Now, this is going to feel really silly for people who are brand new and going builder because they're going to be like, I need 3 people. My map is 3 people, right? Like, but we want to form the habit. That's the point, right? We're forming habits. We're using systems. We're duplicating those systems. So you're going to tell them, I know it's silly, but let's get a map. Let's write your 3 people down. Who are your most solid potentials? The other thing that I feel like this does a lot, and I've watched this happen just today because we actually have not made a map here for a while. A lot of you guys who are new, if you joined in the last couple months, you probably have no idea what the heck I even meant when I said I was mapping us out, right? Because I only do it in months where we are really pushing for a big goal. But this also helps people realize they maybe are not as far in that process with the potential as they think. Because some people sent me really, really long lists of potentials, right? They sent me a list that had like 12 people on it. And I said, okay, am I in a 3-way chat with those people? Have they seen a video, right? Do they even have all the information? Who's your people who's like, they could sign up tomorrow? And then that makes them look at their list and be like, you know what? Actually, most of these people aren't in 3-way chats. So that's probably where I should go next, right? So it's very helpful. Even if you're maybe talking to someone on your team who's not in this big push season where they're going for elite or something like that, it helps them to look at their potentials list and go back through the system, right? Have I exposed them with a presentation or a recorded up call? Have I gotten them into a 3-way chat with an upline? Do they have all the information that they need on the products they're interested in? Once they've gone through all of those steps, then they're a really solid potential who's basically just waiting on a yes or a no for their decision. So start with your newest people, make their lists, then go to the next person, help them make their lists, then go to the next person, help them make their lists. I'm going to use Rachel's team as an example really quick because they're all pushing for goals, but they have people at all different levels. So Rachel would go to Angela's newest enrollment on her team, and they would help Angela's newest ambassador make her list to go builder. And then once they've helped Angela's builders make their lists, then Angela would make her own map out of that. And she would take her new ambassadors and their potentials and put it on her map for going to elite. And then Jessica, who's right above Angela, would look at Angela's map and she'd say, okay, great. And I need this. So I'm going to add it, my people on for my map. And then Rachel would take Jessica's map and she would plug it all in for hers. And then I would take Rachel's map and I would plug it into mine, right? So it just kind of keeps going up. It really, truly is the teamwork type of momentum. But once you have that big map, you guys, it's so wonderful because I know what's happening within your teams. I know to go to Angela's person who's going builder and say, hey, how can I help you? I have my map, and on my map, it says that you have so-and-so who's interested in signing up. Can I get in a 3-way chat with them and help you close that? Super, super helpful system. A diamond at Plexus taught me how to do this, and I have used it ever since. That is all I have, though. So do you guys have any questions before we hop off? Does anybody need, you're like, I have no idea where to actually start with this and I'm going to need help? Okay. Danielle.
Sorry.
No, don't be sorry.
I've been working the reports and everything all day, and I have reached out in my team chat and everything and on their individual things on Telegram. And I'm feeling like I don't think they're going to be able to be resurrected.
Okay.
And I even offered, which I don't think you saw, I offered a Zoom. Can I pull you guys into a Zoom with Mandy?
Right.
I said, how about one-on-ones? and they're seeing everything. You can go in there and see they're seeing it.
Yeah.
I think my only thing is to just try really hard to get new people.
Yeah. Here's where I will be brutally honest with you. Everyone, no matter who you talk to in network marketing, if they've been here for even half a second, has gone through something like that. It has happened to me multiple times where I thought I had all these people working, and then all of a sudden everybody has fallen off the face of the earth, and I have like one person, and I'm thinking, this isn't going to work. Like, we're not going to be able to do this if there's just me and one other person, and you have to rebuild. So I have said this a lot to people ever since I heard it, because it has been, even though it's not like the most positive thing, it has been really positive for me, is when Jake Spencer talked at convention in February, probably before most of you guys were here yet. He said 8 out of every 10 people who join your business are going to quit. And
oh yeah, no, I know that. I'm just letting you know that I feel like if I hit them up again,
I wouldn't. Don't try and wake the dead. What I would do is I would go into the team chat you have, and I'd say, hey guys, we're actually starting a new team chat. And so I want everybody to drop an emoji if you want to be added into that new team chat. And if people don't drop an emoji, they don't drop an emoji. If you have 2 people who drop an emoji, you start a new team chat with the 2 people who want to be there.
Okay. Well, I want you to read what I put in there.
Okay.
And then you can tell me if you still want me to do that.
Okay.
But yeah, no, I just want you to know I did all the reports. I have no new 90 days. I have no nothing.
Nope, that's okay. It happens.
Okay.
It happens.
Okay.
Any other questions? And Danielle, we can talk about that more in your chat too.
No, I just wanted you to know that I don't have much to do but my own stuff.
That's okay. That's okay. Any other questions before we hop off? All righty, guys. Okay, I'm going to stop.